Right now, today, I'm 39, but I'll be 40 next week. That means statistically, as an American male, I'm closer to the end of my life than the beginning. And frankly, that's terrifying. But I'm hopeful about my 40s. When I turned 30, it messed with me. I felt panicked, like I hadn't done enough with my life. I wasn't successful enough. I wasn't married or anywhere near ready for kids. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life, what my purpose was. I had spent my 20s just wandering and frankly wasting a lot of time. Now, at almost 40, I don't have everything figured out, but I feel a lot better than I did 10 years ago. I'm more confident, more myself. I have a great partner. I'm a dad. Professionally, I have a couple of wins under my belt. So in this video, I want to share with you everything I've learned about life in the last decade. And hopefully, no matter how old you are, you can take away one or two insights and apply them to your own life. Real quick, I want to thank Geology for sponsoring this video, supporting the channel. I'll talk more about them in a bit. First, let's get into it with lesson number 1. Energy is more important than time. Most productivity advice is about optimizing how you use your time. But the truth is, we all have the same 24 hours in a day, and most of us do have enough free time to pursue the things that we say are important to us. But we don't use that extra time wisely because we simply don't have the energy. And that's why instead people spend so much time watching TV, scrolling TikTok, playing video games, instead of being outside, reading, exercising, or working on creative ideas. It's just hard to find the energy for those meaningful activities after spending a full day at school or work or parenting. So you have to guard your energy closely. You can make more of it by going to bed earlier. You have to be careful not to spend all of your energy on your job. More energy means that you'll use the limited free time that you do have on the things that will actually make you more fulfilled in the long run. Number 2, don't waste time on small decisions. There are so many inconsequential decisions that you won't even remember 10 years from now. Which restaurant to go to, which car to buy, what hotel to book. These things don't matter, but your time does. Don't waste time on decisions that are inconsequential, inexpensive, or reversible. 3, a little extra grooming goes a long way. Everyone gets old and wrinkly eventually. Most people will need glasses or dentures, hearing aids, but a little extra self-care in your 30s goes a long way. Use retinol on your face. Get a pedicure every now and then. And yes, men can get pedicures too. Use an electric toothbrush, use fluoride rinse, and for God's sake, floss. If you're losing your hair, start treating it now. Speaking of personal care, thanks to today's sponsor, Geology. Geology is an award-winning skin, hair, and body care company with over 10,000 5-star reviews. From body wash to moisturizer to deodorant, they have your whole routine covered. I've tested Geology's entire lineup. I use their products every day, and I can personally vouch for the quality and the efficacy of the derm-grade ingredients. This isn't a luxury brand with inflated prices. These aren't trendy products with unscientific claims. It's just simple, high-quality personal care powered by dermatologist-approved ingredients like retinol, salicylic acid, and vitamin C. If you're new to the brand or you just want to upgrade your routine this year, I recommend Geology's personalized skincare trial set. You take a 60-second quiz about your skincare goals, then you get a personalized 5-piece routine delivered right to your front door, including face wash, SPF moisturizer, retinol cream, and eye cream. It's a great way to try Geology's skincare system for less than $10. Then, if you like the results, you can re-up or tweak your routine until you get it just right. So whether you're looking for clearer skin, you want to reduce wrinkles, or just age as gracefully as possible, I highly recommend giving Geology a shot. Click the link below in the description and then use the code BROCK80 to save 80% off your first personalized skincare trial set, plus 50% off any add-ons. That's a huge discount. That code again is BROCK80, so take advantage of it. Link and discount below in the description. Okay, moving on. Lesson number 4, cherish your life before kids. If you're definitely going to have kids, listen up. You have it easy right now. You have so much free time and so little responsibility. Do not squander this chapter of your life on getting drunk and playing video games. You won't understand how much time you have right now until you have kids, so you're just going to need to trust me on this one. 5, big decisions don't feel big in the long run. It's easy to get hung up on where you live or whether or not to change jobs. I'm not saying these things don't impact your life, but they're less important than they seem in the moment. The farther you zoom out, the less consequential any one decision becomes. I remember being so anxious and indecisive about whether or not to quit my first job. I didn't like this job and I wasn't making much money. I ended up staying there for over 3 years. It felt like a huge decision when I finally left. Looking back, it was no big deal and I should have just done it sooner. When in doubt, Act. Number 6, you don't need new stuff. Be content with what you have. Buying new products or replacing your things with the latest and greatest version usually isn't worth the time and hassle. Yeah, it'll give you a quick dopamine hit, but it won't lead to lasting satisfaction. So don't upgrade your phone until you have to. Run your car into the ground. Wear your clothes until they're worn out. Number 7, if you enjoy something, do it. I grew up playing piano and then fell in love with drumming as a teenager. I considered going to college for music, but at the time, I didn't see it as a lucrative career path. Now, I understand that passion trumps money. If you love something and you get really good at it, the money will find you. Also, you don't have to monetize your passion. You can just do it because you enjoy the actual act of doing it. If you enjoy it, do more of it. 8, ask people to hang out. They probably want to. And if they don't, that's not a big deal. Many people want to be your friend. They want to spend more time with you. They want to hear from you. So talk to that person that you sort of know. Turn that acquaintance into a friend. Ask for their number. And yes, guys can ask other guys for their number. Set a time to hang out and then do it again and again. And one day you'll realize that you're friends. But it takes a lot of hangouts, so keep asking. 9, you don't have to optimize everything. There's a book called 4,000 Weeks, Time Management for Mortals that might change your life. I highly recommend it. But in one chapter it says, convenience culture seduces us into imagining that we might find room for everything important by eliminating only life's tedious tasks. But it's a lie. You have to choose a few things, sacrifice everything else, and deal with the inevitable sense of loss that results. In other words, even with all of the services and the tech and the AI available to us, we simply can't automate and outsource everything in life that we don't want to do. This is especially true once you become a parent. So don't fight doing the dishes or waiting in line. Try to enjoy these moments. After all, they're just part of life, and life is precious. 10, don't be a minimalist just to be a minimalist. Especially for my generation, the millennials, there's a lot of pressure to be a minimalist. There are YouTube channels, documentaries, even entire books and brands dedicated to minimalism. And for a generation who grew up with Tyler Durden's words echoing in our ears, the things you own end up owning you, it's easy to feel like we just have too much stuff. And of course, there's some truth to this, but it can go way too far. The desire to not own things can end up owning you too. So if you're happy with your possessions, don't go getting rid of all your stuff just because some YouTuber told you to. 11, don't travel just to travel. Travel is great, but staying home is great too. Travel has always been romanticized. Everybody says they want to see more of the world, but social media has poured jet fuel on the FOMO fire. Now, it's great to experience other cultures and geographies and cuisines, but it's also okay to spend a lot of time in the same places. It's okay to live in your hometown or to move back to your hometown after trying somewhere else. Like my country, the United States, has so much to see. You could spend your whole life exploring this one country, let alone this whole continent. It's also okay just to stay home and spend time with your family and friends, or just by yourself. 12, sleep over stimulants. I like coffee. I drink it pretty much every day, but nothing beats a good night of sleep. Now, if you're in your 20s and you don't have kids yet, you probably don't really understand this, but you will. Sleep is incredible. It's not a waste of time. Don't sleep when you're dead. Sleep now. You're going to feel better, and you'll probably live longer. 13, nothing good happens after midnight. I'm a night owl by nature. I used to stay up late every night. Now, I'm in bed by 10:30, if not earlier. Whether you're out at the bars or over at a friend's house or just hanging out at home, nothing good happens after midnight. Don't let another episode autoplay. Don't pour yourself another drink. Just go to bed. 14, find exercise you enjoy. Yoga, running, CrossFit, lifting, martial arts. Which is the best? The best one is the one that feels like play, where fitness is just a byproduct. For me, it's jujitsu. I love to go and hang out and socialize and roll and learn new things. I happen to get an incredible workout while I'm there. 15, stopping is sometimes harder than starting. Sometimes it's a bit too easy to get into something new. Think about any vice like vaping or gambling. Pretty easy to start, pretty hard to stop. Same goes for relationships, jobs, business partnerships. These things can be hard to unwind, so don't make these kinds of decisions lightly. 16, life is a series of experiments. If you're waffling on a decision, just try it for a month. Like if you're thinking about moving to a new city, rent an Airbnb there for a month, go and see what happens. If it doesn't work, whatever, it was worth the money to find that out. Want to cut back on drinking? Abstain for 30 days. What's the worst that can happen? If you want to start a YouTube channel, commit to publishing 2 or 3 videos over the next 30 days. I guarantee you're going to learn something. 17, there are no rules. You're going to be pressured to go to college and major in something practical, get a full-time 9-to-5 job, buy more house than you need, get married, have kids, try to make a bunch of money, retire, and then finally go do whatever you actually wanted to do in life. You don't have to do any of that. You can work a non-traditional job. You can buy less house than you can afford, or just never buy a house. You can be a stay-at-home dad or not have kids. You can switch careers halfway through life. You could become an expat or a digital nomad or go to trade school. My point is, you can do whatever you want. And this is especially true if you have any sort of safety net, like parents that you can move back in with. In fact, I would argue that if you do have a safety net, it's not only a privilege to take risks by living a non-traditional life and pursuing your dreams, it's actually a responsibility. Don't just settle for the default and often unfulfilling path. 18. You don't have to have an opinion about everything. A lot of pressure these days to have a strong opinion about literally everything. The president, the right diet, climate change, the list goes on and on and on. You don't have to have an opinion about any of this. You can simply say, I don't know, or I don't have an opinion on that. 19. You don't have to be informed about everything going on in the world. Similarly, it's easy to feel like a bad citizen or a bad human being if you don't know about every single thing that's going on in every corner of the world. We have access to way more news than we can handle. Like, is it really natural to know about every bad thing happening in every country every day? But you get flack for opting out. If you don't believe me, just tell somebody that you didn't vote in the last election. See what they say. I bet they're going to try to make you feel guilty. As someone with a public-facing platform, I've gotten flack for not weighing in on whatever hot issue is trending. This is dumb. You don't have to weigh in on everything, especially on stuff that you don't really know anything about. We have very limited attention, and you are allowed to choose what you spend it on. I spend almost all of my attention on my family, my own well-being, and my work. For the vast majority of other issues, I simply ignore them. If I do want to form an opinion about something, I spend time researching it. I try to earn my opinion. And this takes time, so you simply can't care about everything. And that's okay. 19. Changing your mind is a sign of intelligence and thoughtfulness and humility and confidence. I always find it weird that politicians or celebrities get dragged through the mud when they flip-flop or change their stance on something. Like, if done for the right reasons, this should be rewarded and encouraged. This is the whole strong opinions, loosely held mantra. Like, it's okay to have firm beliefs and defend them passionately, but only if you're willing to change those beliefs when new evidence or better arguments are presented. It seems like so many people nowadays take the exact opposite approach. They take hardline stances on issues they don't even understand, and they refuse to change their mind even when presented with compelling evidence. I used to be like this, but I really try not to anymore. In the last 10 years, I've changed my mind on big things, from politics and religion, social issues, and honestly, I'm happier for it. 20. Take care of your feet. Don't wear shoes that squeeze your toes in or that make your arches hurt. You can probably tolerate it in your 20s, maybe your 30s, but I promise it's going to catch up with you and cause issues down the road. You see all these old people in their Skechers, right? If a shoe seems like it might be too small or too tight, it is. So when in doubt, size up. 21. Ignore fashion. Or don't. It doesn't matter. If you want to keep up with trends, that's great. If you found a style that works for you, don't worry when your wardrobe becomes dated. This simply does not matter at all in the long run. 22. Get off social media. It's a waste of time and mostly makes you feel bad about yourself. We're all going to die someday. We're just walking each other home. Do you really want to spend your limited time here stuffing yourself with whatever TikTok's algorithm is dishing out today? Head down, eyes dried out, staring at a tiny glowing rectangle for half your waking hours? Delete it. 23. Go for walks. I've never felt worse after taking a walk, whether with somebody else or by myself. If you're in a funk, go for a walk. If you're having trouble focusing at work, take a walk. Can't sleep? Bored? Walk. When in doubt, go for a walk. 24. Buy once, cry once. I'm not saying you need to own the high-end luxury version of everything, but there are probably some categories where you kind of want something special. Like for me, I kind of always wanted a nice watch, but I'm also perfectly okay driving a Honda. So if there is something you want, whatever that thing is for you, don't settle for the good enough version of it. Save up for the real deal. Even if it takes a while, the anticipation is half the fun. So be patient, enjoy the wait, get the thing you really want. Buy once, cry once. 25. Go deep. Achieving mastery in literally anything is one of the most fulfilling things any human being can do. And mastery takes time and effort and repetition, day after day, year after year. Deep work. But being good at something is extremely satisfying. So don't drown in the shallows. Go deep. 26. If you want kids, go have them. If you're in your late 20s or early 30s and you definitely want kids, don't wait too long. My generation was always told that there's no rush, but there are many couples now for whom it is too late. Or maybe they had one kid and they want another one, but they can't. It's also just easier to handle the physically demanding and sleep-depriving job of parenting when you're a bit closer to your physical prime. 27. Apologize. Two of the hardest words to say are "I'm sorry." Even toddlers have a hard time apologizing. Adults will hold on to grudges for years or decades even, rather than just saying "I'm sorry." But on their deathbeds, people often ask for forgiveness. That's what it takes for some people. They use their literal last breath to say sorry and ask for forgiveness, to make amends. I'm not a natural apologizer. This one time, my wife and I were returning a rental car outside of Cabo, and I go to pull her suitcase out of the back. I didn't know that it was unzipped, so I pull it out and her clothes go flying everywhere. Underwear and all on the hot Mexican asphalt. She was pissed, but I was like, "You left it unzipped." I didn't think I owed her an apology because I didn't think that it was my fault, or at least not completely my fault. It took me a while and a lot of patience from my wife, she's a better communicator than me, to realize that apologizing is not about admitting guilt. Even if you don't think you owe an apology, it's just a nice thing to do for somebody else. And I've always felt better after apologizing. Always. It just pulls the tension out of a situation and makes everybody feel lighter. It can bring you closer together. It's just 2 words. It doesn't cost anything. Just apologize. 28. Always get in the water. If you have a chance to jump in a body of water, do it. The ocean, a pool, the lakes and rivers that you're used to. The temperature doesn't matter. Go in, if only for a few seconds. Don't think too hard because you might convince yourself out of it. Just get in, even if it's cold. In fact, definitely get in if it's cold, because when you get out, you're going to feel like a brand new man and you'll live the rest of the day without any regrets. 29. Popular does not equal good. We have so many choices these days, whether it's buying a new pair of jeans or choosing what movie to watch. It's tempting to just go with what's popular, but popular does not equal good. I'm often disappointed with Netflix's #1 recommendation or Amazon's bestseller. Instead of just following the crowd, or more likely the algorithm, ask somebody that you know and trust for their recommendation. Don't be afraid to try more obscure, off-the-beaten-path products and experiences. There are many hidden gems out there, and almost none of them are on the top 10 list. 30. Start a lot of books, but don't finish all of them. I read on average about 2 books a month. Well, I mostly listen to audiobooks when I'm working out or doing the dishes or taking a walk. And I try to read books that I want to read, not books that I want to have read. But I don't finish every book that I buy. I have a whole library of unfinished books. This is because getting through a whole book is a real time commitment. Like at the low end, 5 or 6 hours. At the high end, could be 40 or 50 hours. And frankly, I don't like every book that I start. I used to try to power through, like if I bought it and I started it, I should finish it. But it turns out that not every book is a good fit for me, even the popular ones. So if I'm 10 or 20% of the way through a book and I'm just not feeling it, I put it down. Maybe I'll pick it up later. There are so many incredible books that can change your perspective or even your path in life or just immerse you in another world. So don't waste time on books that you don't enjoy. 31, last but not least, money does buy happiness. Well, technically money helps eliminate unhappiness, but it's hard to be happy if you have a bunch of stressors in your life, like worrying about how you're going to pay rent. That's why having money is better than spending money. Like for me, the whole point of having money is so that I can stop worrying about money. It's nice not having to think too hard about your budget when you're picking a restaurant. It doesn't mean I'm going out to fine dining every night. In fact, that's a rare occurrence. But it's nice to know that on special occasions, it's not going to be a big deal. I know that it's not going to break the bank if I pick up the check for a group. More importantly, just having that peace of mind that my family will be taken care of in an emergency, that if something happened to me, my wife and kids would be okay. That just helps me sleep better at night, and it makes day-to-day life less stressful. So yes, money is important, and it does buy happiness in a way, but it's not because it helps you buy more things or fancier things. It's because it gives you security and peace of mind. But that's a subject for another video. We've reached the end of my list. If you're still watching, thank you so much for watching this video and for spending some time with me here today. This is the last week of my 30s. I am optimistic about this next decade in life. I'm excited to turn 40. I want to thank Geology again for supporting the channel by sponsoring this video. Check the link below in the description. Love to hear your thoughts down in the comments section, so feel free to weigh in. Thank you as always for watching, and until next time, stay stylish.